Hi, this is Kim with Mom's Creative Moments, and I am bringing a project recipe to you called Party Time. This is for a collection that came out 2 years ago this January. So in 2021 we got Party Time, and it's a very fun collection. Unfortunately, it's no longer available, but you might have it in your stash, and if you do, you could pull it out and apply this very easily to it. If you don't have it in your stash, that's okay too. You can go ahead and use any papers that you have, and I'm going to show you how to do that today because I actually don't have any of the regular Party Time collection left other than the stickers, because I actually bought an additional pack of stickers. So I'm going to show you how to put this together using alternative papers and some of the borders that obviously came with this particular set. You may recall not too long ago, I can't remember though exactly when it was, we got these the Party Time laser border packs as kind of a thank you for the CM birthday. If you're an advisor, you got those if you ordered. So you may have some of these, and I had some because I ordered during that time. This is also the punch we're going to use. This is the birthday cake punch. I call it the birthday cake punch. It's got a little cupcake and two multi-tiered birthday cakes, and makes a really cute decorative border. So we're going to use that today as well. So let's see how quickly we can get this one to come together. It should be relatively fast, and we'll see. Okay, I'm going to just move my adhesive out of the way, my scissors, and we're going to get started. So this is the project recipe, and here is the cutting guide. We need a piece of cardstock. I'm using navy cardstock, just like it calls for on the project recipe. And then it calls for aqua cardstock and one designer paper. I'm not using that. So I am using the navy cardstock. I'm also using a blue shimmer paper and a bronze shimmer paper. And those are taking up my other two papers. I am going to use the bronze shimmer paper for the designer paper down here because it becomes very large banners that take up the majority of our page, as you can see right here. That is going to be my bronze shimmer paper, so designer paper or paper number 3. And my bases are going to be part of the Fast to Fabulous paper pack from Party Time. So you may recall that Party Time had this Fast to Fabulous option where you could get a different paper pack that had Fast to Fab inspired pages. So really designed so that it looks like you already have a border, and all you have to do is add your pictures and your journaling and embellishments, and you're done. I'm going to show you though how to jazz this up and make it look like you've really spent a lot of time on it. Okay, so it shouldn't be too hard to do that. Let me show you. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to set these base pages off to the side. And I'm going to grab my trimmer. We're going to trim a couple things. We're going to punch a couple things. And then we're going to put it all together. And you're going to see how easy this comes together. So, first thing we're going to do is we're going to punch a row of these cute, cute, cute birthday cakes. If you've never used a CM punch, you push your paper all the way to the back onto this shoulder that's in the back here. And then you line up the edge up here, up front, with one of the marks that are on the very front of the punch. You can see that little mark there, that little mark there. The one you choose to line it up with, line the side up with, determines which direction you're pushing your paper. I just always seem to like to go that way. So, so I just end up always lining it up with the left one. But you might prefer to go the other direction, which is totally alright. And you just get your paper started, and then just line it up. You move it across until your design covers that blue area of the punch. You can see on the wing right here, that cupcake design. So you just move it through until it covers, and then punch. All right? Cool. Okay, so this one is good to go. I'm just gonna get rid of my confetti here. Excuse me, still fighting through the burps, guys. So sorry about that. All right, so we are going to, let me just double check how deep we need to measure the cut to trim off the punched piece. Well, usually there is a measurement in here, and I'm not seeing it. Oh, okay, so they're saying measuring from the punched edge, we need to trim the cardstock at 5 3/4. So I'm not sure. This one's obviously going to be put together a little bit different than what I'm used to. So this will be an adventure for all of us. Okay, so 5 3/4. I thought I had read through how this one comes together, but apparently I missed something. Okay, so there's this piece. Then we are to cut this piece into 4-inch segments, but until before we do that, let's go ahead and cut this at 4 1/2. Four and a half by 6 1/2. This is one of the large mats that's part of the layout. Okay, we'll just set that over here. All right, then we're going to take this and we're going to cut it every 4 inches, it says. So we're going to go, so we'll have 3 pieces essentially. So 1, 2 and 3. All right, now we're going to grab, I'm going to grab my blue shimmer paper, and we're going to punch this and do the same thing that we did with the navy cardstock. So we're going to come over here, we're going to line it up. We're going to punch and slide. Okay. So let's get rid of our punch confetti now too. And we're going to come back over here and do the same thing we did before. Pull our wing out and cut this at 5 3/4. Okay. Then we're going to cut this at 4 1/2. And 6 1/2. Okay, so there's another large mat, and we're going to take this piece and we're going to cut it every 4 inches, just like we did the first piece. Okay. Now we have one more piece left to cut, and that's our bronze shimmer. And this one's going to get cut at 8.5, so I'm going to need that arm out after all, sorry. So 8.5. And then we're going to turn the 8.5 piece horizontally and cut it at 6. Okay. Set those right here. We're going to get back to those in a second. Then we also need 2 that are 3.5 by 3.5 square. So right now this piece stands at 3.5, or just a hair over 3.5. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this and go ahead and cut it so that it is square. Okay, there we go. Now, those are all the pieces that we need. However, these 2 larger pieces of bronze cardstock, bronze shimmer, we're actually going to make these really large banners, which means we need to cut a wedge into them. And normally I would suggest that you just use a pair of scissors, but or your banner maker punch, flag punch would work great also. However, this is such a large one that I'm going to suggest that we use our trimmer. And let me show you how I'm going to do that. I folded this over, but I'm only really creasing just about 1 inch deep on one side. I'm going to put my point on my cutting line over here. I'm going to put the point out here at my 1 inch mark. Okay? So very carefully going to hold that paper down and cut. And that will give me my banner with as little creasing as possible. Okay? And then I can make it consistent and exactly the same on this piece by doing exactly the same thing. So the corner goes on the cutting line up here. This corner down here goes on the 1 inch line. The vertical line that's coming down on my grid that says 1 inch. You do have to sometimes make adjustments back and forth, but ultimately there we go. There you have it. Okay. Now we can assemble. Woohoo! Okay, let's grab our base sheets and lay this out. Okay. We are going to take each of these sets of punched borders and very carefully lay them out on our paper in such a way that they complement with the printed banner that's going across the top. What I mean by that is the middle one of these 3 is going to go on the right hand side, and the middle one of these is going to go on the right hand or left hand side. Okay. And then what we need to figure out is how high we need to make it so that whatever is already printed on our page that we want seen can be seen. And our banner still fits. I think that'll work. maybe just raise it up just a little. We only need just a little bit of that blue ripply printed on stuff across, and then we've got our banner right underneath it. I think that's gonna work. Okay, so I'm gonna place this one carefully. I'm gonna use my repositionable adhesive on a couple places on that punched border so that it stays down. I'm going to line up the right hand border with the right hand side of the paper. That'll help me keep the paper straight. I think it looks kind of cool with that sort of firework background. And then as you add these two together, just make sure that they're lining up at on the top, that design is making sense and coming together. Alright. Then we're going to add our banner. Just center it so you have an even amount of the banner on either side of that center section, much as possible. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing over here. And I'm actually going to put my two pages together like this so that I can line up my design with the page that we've already done. That way I'll make sure I get the right, we don't have one that's higher than the other, right? Come on. Ah. Okay, just lining this up also. And we'll get the banner put on. And we are in business. We're almost done. This one came together very quickly. I think I mentioned I thought it would do that. Okay. Now, I also have some mats that you will recall we cut. So we need to figure those out. So these mats are placed in such a way that whichever mat you have more of at the top is the mat that's going to go on the bottom, like so. And then these go on the outside, in the outside square, like so. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and mount those. My chunky sweater keeps moving stuff around on my table. Do you have that issue? I think I'm the only one with that issue. So I'm going to keep this lower, kind of towards the bottom, but try and keep my borders around the right, left, and bottom at a similar amount of space, just like so. And the reason I will show you in just a minute, I'm going to add those banners, and they do take up a little bit of swag space, so we want to give them a little bit of room. This one you just center from the top and bottom and center on the right and the left so that you have an even border on the right and left and an even border on the top and the bottom. Did I make that make any kind of sense? I'm sure it sounded crazy. It sounded crazy when I said it. Sorry about that. Clear as mud, as somebody used to say in my life. I can't remember which grandparent or parent I got that from, but alright, so both of these kind of sag just a little bit, and if you're only doing a one page type of a layout for this project recipe, that is totally fine. You could pop this up on some foam squares on the areas that are above where a photo will sit, and that way you can slide your photos underneath with no issues. But I didn't want it to say happy birthday, so I pulled this one out that said that had balloons and other streamers on it, thinking that maybe I could go ahead and add this in also at the top of the second page. What do you think? I contemplated separating this and then having part on each page so it said happy birthday in the middle. I don't know. I think I'm just gonna play it safe and do this. I'm going to use the small foam squares. And notice on the back side of this, it's solid, so you could make your own banner and write in hooray for Julia, or you know, something fun on the back, which would be really cool to do if you have these laser borders in your stash. I'm going to just put these on the 3 on each end, and we're going to see if that's going to be enough to hold this up. Let's see if that will be enough. I think I do need one for the middle, like right under these two. But I'm going to make it right at the top because I don't want it to interfere with pictures. In fact, what I might do is not take the, I'm not going to take the second sticky off of these two. I'm going to just leave those there so that it stays popped up. without sticking to the page, and then I can slide pictures underneath it when I have the photos. And since that's the case, I suppose I probably could have put those lower if I wanted, but that's okay. It'll be fine this way. Okay, and then this one, I'm going to grab some of the larger foam squares, just so we can, as you can see, I'm running out of my small ones. That never happens. Right? Okay, so just going to do the same thing for this one and pop up this center area without taking those stickies off. There we go. So just gonna get that placed right up there like so. Makes for a very festive page, doesn't it? Then I also have some mats, which I thought would be fun. Having a journal box is always a good thing to have. And we might want to go ahead and put that journal box in a mat, just to give it a little bit of extra pizzazz. So I'm going to trim a couple of these up, and we'll use these to just kind of add some panache to our page. This will give us a proper place to add some fun notes and stories. And my trimmer, as usual, I'm having a hard time getting that last little bit of white off. If I was putting it in the right place, it would do its job beautifully, but for some reason I'm having a hard time seeing the cutting zone. There we go. That works much better. Okay. And then I'm just going to put this on my background that has these funny blow-up animals that you only ever see at parties. And now, because I've put these, put this mat on top of it, it makes it hard to tell that that's what that is, but it's okay. It just adds some color, which is what I wanted. Okay, and then I'm also going to take this one that says Your Special Day, and we can add this in. And let's see, we made this 3.5 by 3.5, and that's the size of photo. Actually, this would be a 3.25 photo, 3.25 squared photo. So if we were to put this in one of our special matted areas at 3.5, we would center at 1 3/4. So that would be about right there. mouth was off, and I apologize for those of you who are super on top of things. Let's blame it on my recovering. Even though y'all know it's just my unusual lack of a math gift. So 3 1/4 squared is what we're making this, in order that it fits nicely right inside there. So we'll put that there. Pardon me again. And we'll put this down here and add some embellishments to it. We have a whole host of stickers we can use. So probably, depending on the birthday person, we could come up with a cluster. Something like we can say, "You're how old?" I love it. I think that's funny. We could grab a cake. I already have cake on there though. I'm gonna grab present. We're gonna grab a present. And a heart, or maybe a star. Let's do a star, and we'll bring down some of that aqua color. It's just super cute. You're how old? Let me grab my foam squares. Here they are. Just stick that right there on the corner of there. That actually, I think, provides enough of the visual triangle that we're always speaking of, because we've got the banners, we've got this over here, we've got this over here. I think that's going to be good, although I might add just a little something to this. Maybe a frosted cupcake. And a star. I have one more tiny little foam square before I need to open a new package. So we'll just set that there. And I think we are good to go. What do you think, ladies and gentlemen? Because you never know when my husband's listening. but there might be other gentlemen out there. At any rate, that makes for a very fun birthday spread, and we can fit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 photos, potentially 7, 8 photos, or possibly a couple more on these 2 pages. So that's really cool. I like layouts where you can get a lot of photos in without making it look chaotic. So really fun. Remember, these up here are 3.5 by 3.5. The ones with the mat are 3.25 by 3.25. And then these are your regular 6 by 4. These large ones down here. All right. Oh, I didn't get this one glued down. I will do that though right now. Let's get that. All right, there. All right. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this and I hope that it has helped you create some fun layouts for your birthday pages to come in the new year. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Until then, you have many more creative moments. Thanks so much. Have a great day.